Hi everyone, this is Steven Jiang. Welcome to the podcast, New Era, New TA. And today I'm very happy to have my friend Craig Fisher to join the podcast. Craig, you are my friend and also very influential in our space. How about you give a very brief introduction about yourself?
Absolutely. So, Stephen, thanks for having me. First of all, great to be here. Thanks for moving to DFW to be near me. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So, I've been in the recruiting business in North Texas and globally since the late 90s. And I've done just about every job there is in staffing, recruiting, and talent acquisition. I've done all these things, but it all leads back to my consulting business, TalentNet Media, that I run to help mostly enterprise employers solve talent operations problems, talent attraction, process improvement, bits and pieces of things where there's not generally a person to take care of those things inside the organization. And then I have partners like you who support our efforts to tell these stories twice a year at TalentNet live conferences. And so we bring the tech partners and the employers together on stage and we all talk about it.
TalentNet, the events, usually people will say, hey, that is a very engaged. You didn't bloat the size and you really care about, hey, this is a group of people and they can get together and to have a meaningful conversations. And that's the feedback I got from Shannon, from Jason, from many other folks. You have been in this industry for a while and you know a lot of people and you also spoke with like now in this AI revolution, right? And things are moving very fast and changing very fast.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this a very challenging question, okay? The recruiting business, the market size, in your opinion, is expanding or is it shrinking? Let's say in coming 2 years. Right? And don't give me yes and no answer.
The answer is no. I'm not going to give you a yes or no answer or a yes and no answer. Yes, it's shrinking.
It's shrinking.
Currently shrinking. So what happened was when COVID hit, we had been on a bit of an expansion and then everything shrunk for a year and then it blew up. The biggest expansion we've ever seen. And then last year was tough and this year is tough. And for the next couple of years, it's going to be tough. But that's how this industry works. It's cyclical. It's a tail end of the economy. And so we're in a down economy. And so we're going to have a shrinking recruiting industry.
Yeah.
And then it will expand again. So it's not going away. These are the market signals that we always follow.
I completely agree on the part that we bloated the size of employees for a lot of organizations during the post-pandemic. Okay, so because of the free money poured into the market, but in the past 3 years, I think we squeezed the bubble a lot, and the employee size had been adjusted significantly, especially high tech. And in the coming 2 years, and let's say that 2 years from now, and the coming 24 months, probably the AI automations, and especially the generative AI and agentic AI in the corporate operations, that might play more and more significant role, and that AI-oriented displacement and transformation will be very obvious. So, and that might create the certain extent of layoffs and also the job losing. So, what do you think?
Well, I think that we're in a unique situation, right? We've never before had these kinds of tools. And I say that a little bit tongue in cheek because there is a time in the world that was pre-iPhone, pre-2008. And then there was post-iPhone. The same thing happened when we had internet. Yay, internet. Whoa, this is going to change everything. We're not going to need job boards. We're not, oh, then we got job boards online. And you know what? That's going to change everything. It's never going to be the same. Have this conversation with HR leaders that are looking for work on a regular basis these days. What are the needs going to be? Who's going to look at the search parameters? And who's going to write the queries? And who's going to examine the tools? And who's going to make sure that there's human eyeballs on the branding and the messaging and all the things that aren't perfect, right? It's not going to be a situation where we just completely rely forever on the automated generation of all of these things. We're going to have some backlash in the near future.
Yep.
Right? It's going to be a situation where it's too easy to spot stuff that's just auto-generated already. Right? And if you don't intervene there somewhere with human touch, well, your message is not going to get seen. And soon we'll have tools even on LinkedIn that will filter out all those just completely auto-generated messages, I think.
Yeah. So basically, you are saying, even though the AI might bring some displacements, but then that's a temporary thing. And after a certain short period of time of turbulence and the things will sort out, and we start to see the new jobs will be created and the new cycle will start.
That's right. What we're seeing with the youngest generations of workers, their jobs, white collar environment, have traditionally been research and writing.
Yeah.
We don't need them to do that anymore. Somebody still has to oversee the production of that stuff. That's consolidating a lot of jobs into a few people. And so we've got a weird market coming around right now, just made or are about to make the minimum retirement age higher again. It's very tough right now to retire in this country and all over the world.
Yeah.
And so people are working longer. And so this whole notion that we had a gig economy and then it went back to a full-time economy, that's still not accurate. Gig economy is still a thing. People are going to start taking lower paying jobs and filling in the gaps for money and income with part-time work here and there, doing bits and pieces of work.
Yeah.
That if you learn the tools, if you learn AI and learn how to do the things that someone is going to need to get done, then at least for the short term, you've got quite an advantage.
And the other day, I also thought about the similar thing or same thing. We're a lot of the office jobs and today, right, the white collar jobs will be break down into a lot of much smaller pieces, and then it will be gigalized.
That's right.
Right, and that might be the future. What do you think?
I think we're going to be able to bid internally in our organizations on doing bits and pieces of work. We started to build a machine like this a few years ago for DXC Technologies. They wanted their internal workforce to be able to bid on parts of jobs. And so in addition to their full-time job, instead of hiring out to Fiverr or, any of these other outside organizations, get your internal organization more involved and let them bid on jobs. Think about things that we do a lot that we don't actually get paid to do, right? So is research really our job? In some respects it is, but some of us are really good at it, right? You're very good at it. I'm very good at it. Very strong with AI tools and with social media tools and all these other things that I don't technically get paid to do. Put all that on a resume. I've been working since 1990 and I've got more skills than the average 30 people do. But how does someone like me get paid to do all those things? You're onto something. There is a way to put all of those things in some sort of program that you can prove, right? That you can do these things and get paid for them.
Today's talent is very binary, or say it's a 1 or 2 dimensions, and suppose should be 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions of who you our future's economy sharing, basically our societal contract with the society, right, among each other, supposed to be restructured based on who you truly are and what you have in the more breakdown way, fine granularity. Get back to this very fine granularity skill later on and can be monetized by the individuals to get paid. So what that means to the recruiting business, if I was running a search firm or recruiting agency, does that mean in the future and I will have two polarized groups of jobs, and one is the very high pay, but they require a very comprehensive, well-rounded talent. $14 billion for Alexandra Wang from Scale AI. So, and on the other side, the other polar might be those very high volume, high attrition, and low pay, and the high dynamic positions. So probably the recruiting business owner can monetize from both. I can make revenue from both. What do you think?
I think so. We're going to have to get more sophisticated in the way that we sort talent. Okay. If we're looking at skills, right now, the search for those skills, even in your own database, is largely reliant on an individual knowing how to search for those skills. So if you're a recruiter and you say, all right, I've got a job description. Here's the job description. Who wrote it? Well, either AI or a human wrote it, or a combination of both. But a human had to tell the AI what to write. So now I'm a recruiter and I've got a job description and I can give it to AI and tell it what to do. But I still have to tell it what to do. Or I can just push a button and it'll say, okay, all these people match. But I still have to verify whether they match or not. And are we guaranteed that those are the right match? And if there's someone niche like me that has 1,000 skills, and I'm probably better at a lot of them than most of what the AI would show. Are you ever finding those people?
So the whole process, our agentic AI and the easy AI,
Very good at it.
yeah, it's better and better. And almost every day I improve to execute those steps, right? Multi-step as training and executing and iterating. So I agree with you that human will still be involved in the loop, and but it's a much less of the work.
It's much less of the work. So the grunt work's going away, but the skilled part of using the agentic tools is going to be very important.
Agree.
And so job seekers, if you're not playing with the tools, if you're not using the tools to do research and documenting your use of the tools, and when you get good results, you document that as well. This is now part of your job, whether you are working currently for someone else or not. Even if you're just doing a job search, is to get better at the tools that we're all going to be using for the foreseeable future.
Regarding the job seekers, now we are facing a lot of very, I would say, pretty concerning issue. Flooding of applications generated by AI.
Too much.
Tell me what you observe.
I'm working with a group in India right now. It's one of the bigger companies in the world, and they've got several positions in Bengaluru, 70,000 resumes, and they can't find anyone that's right for the job. Are they doing a bad job at filtering up front? Have they just left the floodgates too wide open? And so somewhere in there is a process issue. So they're asking me to just run a campaign, a better campaign. And I have to tell them, show me what you're doing first. Let me sit with a recruiter and show me what you see, because somewhere there's an easy fix for this. You just don't know what it is yet. And we're going to find it. If you gave an AI tool all of the data, all of the things that are in my head for a problem like this, and then say, spot the flaw or spot the problem for this, it's possible that it could do it. But I haven't proved it yet. I'm trying.
Anti-AI creation, right? And itself, it's like a paradox, right? And this was created by AI.
That's right.
But then you also need to identify, hey, this is valid or it's not, right? The applications created by the AI, and we say, oh, that's not good. But then the emails sent by me, right, and to you, absolutely I use AI because English is my third language. I need AI to polish. Right, so yeah, probably you realize, oh, why Steven's writing suddenly became so good, right? Not me, AI. But that's a real email from me.
Yeah, but I know.
Okay. So this is a very arguable. And now the application itself. So there are two cases. One is that there's no real human behind. And we must fight against it. Okay? And because that will create a big issue. What if that person was hired and started to steal the confidential information from the corporate?
That's right.
It was so common in the pandemic when everybody was remote.
There's still stories of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's a problem where there's not enough friction, right? Frictionless is not really the solution. Seamless is better, I'd say.
Okay.
Frictionless.
Yeah.
There needs to be some friction because between the Naukri job ad for this organization and all these, thousands of resumes that they're getting, there's no friction. They have not introduced enough friction in the process to screen those people properly.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's a free for all. And that's where the human element will help. And that's where agentic AI can help people help themselves. And this is where I'm trying to get to myself by saying, all right, here's the flaws I've seen in processes before. I'm going to connect you to my campaign engine, to my CRM, to my job descriptions, like all the things. And then I'm going to give you a transcript from me talking through a day in the life with a member of their recruiting team and help me spot the flaw. And we might be able to get there.
Oh, happy to explore that together. So
100%. We need to do that.
It's an urgency, right? And because the fake applications and generated by AI, this is not only about process issue, and this is a ethic issue, and also corporate confidential information issue, right?
Essentially, a fake application is a phishing scam, right? Somebody's going to click on that or some machine's going to open it. And this is why all of our passwords are being leaked on a regular basis. Am I wrong?
Absolutely right.
I mean, and we have no control over it. The companies that are supposed to keep us safe are having multiple threats and leaks every day.
Yes.
So, keep your passwords safe, folks.
I want to pull us back to the recruiting business itself, right? And you see the agentic AI, generative AI, and it shows a lot of promising and potentials to recruiters, right? And what do you suggest for the recruiters? And most likely will be the audience, right? For this podcast, just give a top one suggestions.
Yes. So consolidation, bring things in-house, consolidate their tech stack. They're going to use partnerships in order to do this, right? So there will be some outside partners, but the tools that are more of a catch-all are going to be very valuable. HireEasy is one of these that I recommend on a regular basis.
Thank you.
Because you do so much for my process. And even though I'm not, every day a recruiter, sometimes I'm just showing people how to fix recruiting problems. But tools like HireEasy make it all very much easier.
Why consolidation is accelerating now, and from the corporate side, and you mentioned already the CFO, CEO, then from the vendor's point of view, and we also have the pressure. On one part, the AI technology makes the point solution commodity. And then naturally we'll create the more comprehensive, the all-in-one solution.
That's right.
So the window will move faster and bigger.
Well, and if you are a point solution, you better be able to bolt on to a HireEasy real easy, because otherwise you're not going to make it. And, there's still elephant in the room, which is the large applicant tracking system,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of an antiquated thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going anywhere for the near future anyway. And so you have to have something that you can trust
Mm-hmm.
as the front piece to that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so smaller organizations might get away with something that's not, massive. Fine.
Yeah.
But there's still a Fortune 500 level of companies that need something bigger. I firmly believe that you're going to be able to move into that space very easily, because if Paradox can, so can Hire Easy. It's interesting what's happening with regards to consolidation. We've seen just yesterday or Tuesday, Career Builder and Monster are filing bankruptcy, and they're going to sell out
The era is done. Right?
That's right.
Ended.
Ended. And so that means that the control is coming back to the organizations.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just rely on recruitment marketing agencies anymore, because again, all of this is being made redundant by AI.
Mm.
And so there's got to be people in your organization. You've got to start spending the money to build that part of your organization that understands how do we actually attract and filter candidates.
Okay, so I have one question. Since we talked about this, a new process building, right? You think the in-house recruiting team versus RPO team, who will win if a RPO embrace the new technologies and they can bring the better process to the CHO, to the CIO, to the CFO, CEO?
Mm-hmm.
That's no brainer.
So this is where we were just talking about partnerships, right?
Yeah.
You have the right partnerships, the right RPO, and if the RPO is positioning themselves correctly,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, they can handle all this for you. And here's the catch. RPOs are traditionally running on a very thin margin.
Yep.
Right? And their goal is to use fewer recruiters to get the same or better results.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Shrinking.
Mm.
Consolidate.
Yeah.
And so this is where employers are starting to think the same thing. And a lot of it is due to private equity.
Okay.
The pressure from organizations now
Mm.
that are owned by private equity.
Mm.
Okay. And some of these are Fortune 500 level companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is squeeze, shrink, profit, consolidate.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times that means outsourcing
Mm-hmm.
some things
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of sort of temporary leaders
Mm.
rolling through those organizations. And what those people are doing in their temporary role is trying to squeeze everything together and get the most juice out.
What would be your suggestion for the agency, including RPO and also recruiting search firms? One suggestion for them, and also one suggestion for the in-house recruiting leaders.
You asked a second ago, who wins between an in-house recruiting team and an RPO recruiting team?
Yeah.
It depends. Now, what we've seen traditionally with in-house recruiting teams is you hire less experienced people to do that job. And RPO recruiting teams, they generally have a background that is tech systems or aerotech or big staffing, where you get really good training.
Yeah.
You don't see that as much in-house anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so if you've got these AI tools and you are an RPO and you're positioning yourself as future facing,
Yeah.
then you can say, look, we're doing more with less.
Mm-hmm.
We're redistributing our resources to help you manage the new future of recruiting and technology, not necessarily just doing all of your outsourced individual recruiter work, but helping your internal team more as the partner who helps you with those operations.
And we will see. I'm very excited to see what the future would look like. Okay, so one last question, Craig, for you. And what would be your bold, the quizzest prediction of the recruiting business in the future, near future, okay? And no one knows what will happen in the long term, but just near future.
Hmm. In the near future, and I think what we saw during the expansion, all these staffing companies became an RPO. That's what they all started calling themselves. That's going to be wiped out, I think, in the near term. And there's going to be a lot of consolidation. I think a lot of staffing companies are going to consolidate. And then it'll change again. Once we have expansion, it's going to all just proliferate one more time.
Wow, that is crazy movement, and we will see. Everybody here will be impacted if that happens.
That's right.
Right, Craig, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy.
Always great to be with you, Steven. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we go and drink.
Indeed.
All right. So, thank you, everybody. And I will see you next time. Thank you, Craig, again.
All right.
The future of talent acquisition isn't coming. It's already here. See for yourself at hireeasy.com.